Hello, everybody. Peter here. Excited to be here tonight to share with you a concept that I've been, chasing for 10 years as far as it goes, working on and bringing stuff forward. And a few months ago, we actually got involved with a very successful team of entrepreneurs, innovators who has taken a concept that we've been working on for a while, and they figured out a way to really bring it forward. So we've been involved in the blockchain crypto space now for 7 years. I came up with a concept 10 years ago that was called the participatory economy, and community is commerce. While being in the crypto industry, and I have to be honest with you, I got in the crypto industry first for fast cash. I was like, wow, I was listening and reading about stories of people that had gotten in and built massive multi-million dollar, $100 million fortunes in this cryptocurrency industry. But pretty soon figured out that it was actually what we were working on creating with this concept and this idea of the participatory economy, and that community could drive commerce. And of course, if a community can become and drive commerce, then the people in that community could become extremely wealthy. And so we dove into blockchain, dove into cryptocurrency, and found out that there were some real problems in it, that barriers to entry. I'm not going to say problems, but barriers to entry, things that made it very difficult for the average person. One was news media. News media, negative stories. If you go back and look, there were probably 10 negative stories to one positive story that had to do with cryptocurrency and blockchain, and they really left the idea of Web3 out of it. And then, of course, you had this thing where you had to get a wallet. As a matter of fact, getting a wallet actually prevented me from getting into crypto for a couple of months. They said, oh, you got to get this wallet and you need these seed words. And if you misplace those or something, you'll be in trouble, right? You won't be able to get it. And so I went to go get a wallet and then said, oh, this is kind of weird. It was just not something that I was used to. It wasn't normal. So after about 2 months, I finally get a wallet. I jump into crypto and begin to see that it was very difficult to work with get fiat to crypto, right? The banks just didn't like it. Well, here we are 7 years later, and guess what? They still don't like it. They're having to transform a little bit because of the regulatory stuff and because of where things are headed to, but they're still fighting it and doing stuff. And so that was the real barrier to it, because when I look at the benefits of Web3, I think to myself, there is no way that everybody on this planet just about would not want Web3 to replace Web2, right? Now, I don't think it'll ever completely replace it, but it should, because of the benefits of it. So I'm going to go through those benefits. Greater control over your personal data. Look, guys, we are the product of Web2. You, me, our information, our data, our habits, everything we do is documented, put in data files, sold, resold again, and resold again. As a matter of fact, these data companies could put together a profile on you, hand it to you, you would read it, and you'd go, how the heck do they know this much about me? Well, with Web3, that would not happen unless you wanted it to, because you control your data. You decide if it is sold or if it is not sold. True ownership of digital assets. Look, I know that the press out there have villainized digital assets, but ultimately, at the end of the day, they are transferable much easier. You can hang on to them without, issues of having to have third party, tell you if you could or can. How many people have tried to your debit card? You go and you get some money out, and then you go, it's your money. Remember, it's your money. And then you go to the ATM machine within 24 hours and you swipe the card again, and they go, oh, sorry, you're over your limit. We'll only let you take out $400 of your own money or $500 of your own money. You have to wait until after midnight to take out any more. Guys, that is controlling your funds. That doesn't happen in this digital asset space. Access to decentralized finance. So up until this point, it has been very limited to what the finances that everyday people can get involved with. A matter of fact, by the time we are usually able to get involved in major companies, it's been a seed round of funding, an A round of funding, a B round of funding, and then eventually it gets ready to go public, and then we're able to get involved and invest in those companies. And that is even if you're with the right brokerage firm and you've done enough volume, right? They base that on, well, you can get more shares because you have more money than Johnny over here, right? Normally, by the time we're able to buy something and put it in our 401k, now some of that stuff is beginning to shift, but it's beginning to shift because of DeFi, decentralized finance, a fair way of doing it, allowing everybody to participate in investments on the same level. Censorship resistant, direct monetization for creators and users. This is the big one right here, guys. Look, we have all used the internet, whether it was Amazon, PayPal, Facebook, you name it, email, Google. Why the heck were we not compensated for using those platforms in the early days? You know that those platforms spent 50, 100, $200, $300 to here is the silly part about it. They go out and raise $50 million and then take 30 million of it to compensate maybe in the beginning, like PayPal. A great story. We were very early to get involved in PayPal because we were doing online business, and they had a referral program. I referred probably 100 people to PayPal. We got $5 for each person that we referred. We made $500. I would have much rather had them say, listen, for every person you refer, we'll give you 1 share in PayPal, because it was so innovative. It was so great to be able to just get this card and be able to do it. You didn't have to go through all the hoops of a traditional debit or card at that time. So it was very innovative, but I would have rather had them give me shares. We were early using Amazon, right? But what did I get, right? We actually even tried the auctions on Amazon at one point, right? Putting up and buying stuff in their auction site, which didn't work out really well for them because they were not eBay. So think about in the sense of between Web 2 and Web 3. One, you participate and you get digital assets. The other, you just participate, which is better, plus all these other benefits. And then potential for lower costs and borderless transactions. Look, all of these platforms have middlemen, and these middlemen control the information. They control the data. They control what you can put on there. How many people here have been in Facebook jail? Right? You post something and it's not anything bad. It's just something that somebody doesn't like, and they put you in Facebook jail. Right? So again, Web3 is better. As a matter of fact, I had Grok draw me up a chart. I said, take Web 2 and then take Web 3 and rate it by these parameters, right? Decentralization, user data ownership, transparency. This one here is security, interoperability, and security. And the blue is Web 3. The red is Web 2. Web 3 is already better in every single area. It's tied in security. The only thing where Web 2 had an advantage was in scalability. And that is the reason why Web 3 is not being used way more than Web 2. It's the reason why it didn't take off 7 years ago when I saw it. However, this problem is being solved. And 3 years ago, I sat down and wrote a paper, and I said the only way to solve all these problems, the wallets, all the different aspects that were holding Web3 back, is through banking. And then I said, oh wow, I can't form it. I don't have enough resources. I don't know the people that have run banks before. I don't have the ability to be able to do that. However, the company that I'm going to talk about here in a minute, which is WeFi, does have the leadership. It does have it. But before we jump into that, let's go back one slide here. And so when I saw that the banking industry was the solution, And I found a team and a project that was already doing what I thought needed to be done. I said, I wonder how big the banking industry was. Now, look, I'm not a knucklehead, right? I thought it was already big. I thought, man, they make a lot of money. But I didn't realize the banking industry in 2024, $5.5 trillion in revenues. 5.5 trillion in revenues. But that's just the beginning, helping push the sector's net income to $1.2 trillion. That's net, by the way, guys, not gross income. Net income to 1.2 trillion. That's literally a 20% profit margin after their expenses. And we did a little thing. I was on here and I said, I wonder how many banking executives make over $1 million a year. And somebody did some quick research. One bank, HSBC, because they're public, right? So they have to disclose this. 500 plus executives that make over 1 million euros a year. With paying over 500 people, they're still able to make massive profit margins. So I thought, wow, that's a good thing. The solution for Web3 is banking, and we have the right people to launch this bank, to make this happen. And one of those right people that are part of it, the founder of it, the chairman of WeFi, and that's the company that we're going to talk about right now, is Reeve Collins. Now, Reeve did not just, I guess, fall off the turnip truck, right? He's actually had a very, very successful career. As a matter of fact, he started in internet marketing. Hey, that's pretty good. If you're going to build a global bank brand, wouldn't you want somebody that was successful at doing internet marketing? As a matter of fact, they were so successful, as a founding employee, that company went public for $6.6 billion. Now, he also came down and a few years later did another lucrative exit, selling traffic marketplace to Vivendi Universal. So he built a traffic marketplace, and the list goes on and on of all these things that he did, that he was able to do exits and make himself extremely wealthy. So being a wealthy gentleman, hanging out in Hollywood, finds crypto, works with two other founders, and they decide that they were going to innovate the blockchain, cryptocurrency, Web3 industry. And so they sit around and they said, let's create a project called Tether. Tether is a stable coin. And to be honest with you guys, it's become the foundation of the crypto industry. A matter of fact, Bitcoin, and we'll go look and see where it's at right now, is like $78,000. Bitcoin would not be $78,000 if it was not for Reeve Collins and his founding partners. It was absolutely necessary for Bitcoin to make it, for all of the crypto industry to make it, for this concept and this idea of being able to have stable coins, where people could go from volatility to something stable. Here's Tether, guys. It's the number 3 token on the planet, $185 billion in market cap. And as a matter of fact, it's an extremely profitable entity. This past year, Tether made $15 billion profit. It was built lean and it was built to be efficient. That's exactly what they're going to do in the banking industry. And you're going to see why that's important, because that will lead to wealth for the users. Remember, we talked about back here that Web3, the users get compensated, right? Digital monetization for creators and users. So we're going to come back over here, and I want to show you something here. The trade volume on Bitcoin, 72 billion. On Ethereum, 45 billion. If you add those two together, every day, Tether has more trade volume than both of those combined. As a matter of fact, you can put the next stable coin, which is USDC, add that along with it, and you still do not come up with the total of volume that's traded every single day. Now, of course, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna let you guys listen to Reeve Collins talk about the founding of WeFi, why he did it, and of course, who will benefit from the growth, the success of WeFi, and why WeFi was
The
started.
next piece in delivering on the promise of blockchain, which is democratized access to high quality financial services for the world. We're finally ready for that. And so that's my company called WeFi. So that's wefi.co. And it is a DEO bank. We've coined a new term called DEO bank, a decentralized on-chain bank. So there's banking in the traditional systems, and then the neobank, which is using the traditional system but with no physical presence, just online. And the DEO bank is, instead of using the traditional system, it's online, but it's using the future system, the blockchain. And so what that enables is just better services at cheaper rates, because the blockchain does what the regular system does, but just much, much, much more efficiently and on a global scale. And so we've packaged and simplified the complexities of utilizing blockchain-based wallets and making investments in DeFi and different things like that. We've really created a very simple and friendly user interface and beautiful brand around it called WeFi. So people can then just get higher quality services. So the first product is a card, and then it'll be lending, and then it'll be actually earning a high yield on your savings account, above 10%, and then access to DeFi investments, all through this user interface.
And has that launched yet?
That's launched.
Okay.
Yeah. And the beauty of WeFi is we're also putting the community first, and WeFi is truly delivering on the promise of Web3, which is ensuring the community is the one that gets rewarded for participation. So there's a token.
Guys, I want to ask you a question here. What if your bank that you've banked with, let's say right now you've been banking, sorry about that, I had my volume down pretty low there. The bank that you've been banking with, I know personally myself, I have put, because I own businesses, I've started businesses, millions and millions, and matter of fact, tens of millions of dollars through banks. Mortgage, car loans, at least 15, 18 cars in my lifetime. Credit card. I have 7 or 8 credit cards in my wallet right now, right? I've charged millions of dollars on my credit cards. I have swiped my cards. What have I gotten back from my traditional bank? Absolutely nothing. A matter of fact, fees. Monthly fees for this, fees for that. This is a new concept that is absolutely amazing. Imagine being able to receive digital assets just for paying your mortgage. Imagine being able to receive digital assets when you swipe your card. This is what we're talking about. It's a new age. Now, of course, one person doesn't make up a team. So we'll talk about a couple of the other team members, and then I'll let you hear from all 5 founders about their perspective of what they're building here. What do we get? What is in it for us? Why would we want to become a part of this? And then I'm going to get into how simple and easy it is to do, purchase some ITO units, one click, leave it alone for the next 6 years and benefit from it, or of several other ways for where you can earn money. A matter of fact, some of it is for right now money. If you said, hey, I really need to make some money, we'll show you how to do that. But if you want to build long-term wealth, we'll also show you how to be able to do that. So this is Maxim. Maxim is the CEO in his 30s, already a successful entrepreneur in his own right, has already exited projects in the past. He has expertise in IT, finance, and Web3. So he is the CEO of the company. We also have Roman Rosoff. This is super important, guys. The community is the most important part of this, and right now it's over 200,000 members worldwide and growing every single day. However, we need great technology. A matter of fact, one of the issues with Web3 up to this point, blockchain and cryptocurrency, is the complexity, the difficulty of using the technology that exists right now. We have a Roman with a proven track record of making banking simple. Wise Bank is one of the top neo banks in the world. That's a traditional bank that's online. A matter of fact, I've talked to now a half a dozen people, 2 just the other night. One was from Australia, one was from England. Both of them knew Wise Bank, they've used Wise Bank, and they like Wise Bank, right? So it's a very popular bank that's out there. And the technology is fantastic. As a matter of fact, the banking app in the Apple App Store and in the Google Play Store, both of those with close to 2 million reviews, is 4.8 star. So great. He's already developed great product. He is going to build the greatest, more experience, right? So when you say 10 years of experience, you started building Wise Bank back here, you've learned. He has more experience to build better technology. And by the way, this is not technology that they're just building now. It is already built. It is already ready to deploy around the world to build out this new thing called DEO banking. Right now, I'm going to let you listen to the 5 founders just real quickly. They'll tell you a little bit about their involvement and why and what they think about what's being built here.
Hello, my name is Reeve Collins. I created Tether, the world's first stablecoin. It's amazing to see how stablecoins have become the foundation of the cryptocurrency ecosystem. Now I'm building WeFi, a bank reimagined with community at its core. Powered by blockchain, WeFi operates at a fraction of traditional banking costs, allowing us to share the value directly with our users. Our community doesn't just use the platform, they are the heart of it. They earn the rewards and reap the benefits of their contributions. With world-class financial products and a relentless focus on user empowerment, WeFi isn't just a bank, it's a global movement. Join us in building the future of financial access for the world.
WeFi is the first bank built for crypto. As stablecoins go mainstream, all transactions will eventually move to crypto rails because they are faster, cheaper, and smarter. Traditional banks will try to catch up, but we are already there. WeFi designed for a crypto native today and for the billion who will become crypto users tomorrow. We make banking more rewarding, more efficient, and more fun. WeFi isn't just a better crypto bank. It's a better bank, period.
Hey everyone, I lead product and technology at WeFi. This is a full-stack company built in-house by engineers, developers, and designers. Everything you see, from staking to real-time portfolio tracking, is custom and is modular and self-custodial. You can move money, stake, use, and hold all in one place. We ship fast, but we care about every detail: UX, security, and clarity. My job is to turn complexity into something people actually want to use. Not a theory, a working product. And we are just getting started.
At WeFi, I focus on bringing crypto into real everyday business. More people are using digital assets, but merchants still struggle to accept them. We're solving that. From crypto-enabled POS terminals to ATM networks and merchant tools, we build the infrastructure that makes crypto work on the ground. This isn't tomorrow's use case, it's already happening and we're making it simple.
I served as the global head of private banking for the National Bank of Abu Dhabi and was CEO to 3 banks in Switzerland. I spent over 25 years in global banking. Over time, I saw how traditional systems began to fall behind. Slow, expensive, very complex, and disconnected from the digital world. What drew me to WeFi is that it's not a patch on old finance. It's a purposely built DEO bank, fast, transparent, and ready for a global user base from day one. From experience, I can say that this is not a passing trend. It's a fundamental shift from closed systems to open ones, from control to collaboration. And WeFi is building that shift with clarity and conviction.
So you can see, guys, that we have this dynamite team. They're extremely well funded. So those are the some of the most important things is the team, the funding, and of course, solving a major problem in the marketplace and onboarding people into Web3 and crypto is essential, I believe, for our future. So there are actually 3 ways that you can earn by being involved with WeFi. We're going to talk about the first one, which is WFI mining. So essentially, all crypto networks need mining networks or cloud-based or computer power in order to do the transaction, validators, in order to ensure that the network stays decentralized and transactions get processed. So what WeFi has decided to do is allow for 100%. And that is unique in itself right there, guys. Outside of Bitcoin, most projects, the founders get tokens up front. The developers get tokens up front. They usually put some tokens aside for VCs to purchase them at much cheaper prices, right? So let's say the project's going to go out at 50 million. They're buying it at $1 million or less. And then they usually put some aside for marketing, and they'll usually put some aside for treasury for the company to sell them off in order to raise money for the company. WeFi is doing none of that. 100% of the tokens are being mined for the community members in order for us to benefit the community. Remember, Reeve mentioned it, that it's about the community benefiting. I'm actually going to show you right now how easy it is to purchase these. So I've already put in some funds into my account. I have 106.92 in USDT in my account. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to earn. And I'm going to come down here, right here, and I'm going to hit buy ITO units. Now you can see I already have some ITO units that are mining right now in this account, about 33,000 of them. They've already mined over 1,000 WFI tokens, which currently right now have a market of 2,375.87. That's a 44% return over my investment in the account. So if I come down here and I hit buy ITO units, hit USDT here, and you will see I have some WeFi in my wallet. I'm not going to use that. I'm holding on to that. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the USDT, hit continue. I'm going to go ahead and, because I'll leave some in there for my next transaction to do for my next, I'm going to go ahead and purchase $50 worth of ITOs. You can see that that's going to be 84 ITOs. Current price right now is 60 cents per ITO, but you'll see that since I've decided to stake it for 5 years, that I'm going to get a 30% boost. So instead of 80 something ITOs, I'm actually going to get 109. The reason why I'm staking it for 5 years seems like a little bit of a long time to lock something up, but the great part about it is because WeFi is a bank, and this is the asset of the bank, that they're going to allow us a year from now to be able to borrow against these assets. So I get to hold on to the asset, have it continue to go up in value, but yet get access to that capital. So I'm not worried about coming down here and hitting that. Check, I confirm and I agree. Hit go ahead. And here's the beauty of it, guys. I'm actually done. I could just take the next 6.5 years. That's when the last token will be mined, a little over 6.5 years from now. I could just simply leave this alone, shut this app, not log back in for 6.5 years. There's no monthly maintenance on it. There's no special equipment. I could have done this on my cell phone. I could have done it on a tablet. I could have done it on a 10-year-old computer that has internet access because it's running in the cloud. And it will just continue to run and continue to produce these tokens for me. So imagine this token going from right now, it's about $2.40 something cents. Imagine it going to $3, $5, $10, $20, $30. At $30, just the tokens I've mined so far would be worth over $30,000. And of course, I personally believe, again, not financial advice, guys, Please make sure you do your own due diligence. But I believe at some point this will be a $200 to $300 token minimum, which means that these tokens that I've already mined just in the last few months would be worth over $200,000 to $300,000. Now, the great part about it, that's not all we get. We do buy the ITOs. They mine the tokens for the next 6.5 years. But also, on top of that, the company has decided to share in the equity of the core company that's there. And the way they're doing that is through giving us a digital gift certificate, which will convert down the road into shares in the core company, the banking side of things. And they actually have some estimates down here of that these could be worth as much as $33,000. That's way more than I put into the account already. But of course, because I have a lot in this account, it could be worth over 2.7 million. But even if you just did $1,000, that would be about 23 or 2,400, somewhere 2,200 shares. That alone would be worth a substantial amount of money. Matter of fact, I can come up here because remember, I just bought $50 worth. So I get an additional 110. So I can hit the verify button here. And voila, I now own a gift certificate. My gift certificate has gone up from what it was before to now 33,125 shares in the bank entity down the road. So very excited about that. I'm mining the token. I have that gift certificate there. Now, also, this is a neat part about it, guys, because this is where the customers will benefit. Every time you do transactions and do stuff with it, you're actually earning the rewards program. So just like a rewards at Safeway or at Circle K or wherever you shop, maybe you love Jersey Mike's and you go in and you buy 3 or 4 or 6 subs and you get a free sub. We have one with banking. And this is what I talked about when you pay your mortgage and when you swipe your card. You'll earn energy, the rewards program. Here's the cool part about it. One energy is worth $1.27 in USDT. I have 19 energy right here. I could cash this out for $24.59 in USDT. And that I could transfer to my banking account and I could spend it. If I'm able in a place where you can get the debit card, I could put this on my debit card and use it to shop or do whatever with it. Not only that, but check this out. You're actually able to also convert that into ITO units. If I wanted to right now, guys, I could click right here and get an additional 42 more ITO units. It converts when you're buying ITO units to $1.33, about $25.76 in ITO units. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to do that and I'm going to pick again all 42 of those. I want it for 5 years because I want to get 55 more ITO units. Click there, do that, and boom. These will continue to mine, and they will earn hundreds of tokens for me down the road. And remember, I said I think they're going to be worth $200 to $300 per. So the possibility is I just increased the value by tens of thousands of dollars. And again, guess what? I can go back here, click on this, and it hasn't registered yet, but it will give me again more shares down the road. Oh, there it is. 55 more shares that I can verify every single time right now. This will go away eventually, but every single time I buy more ITO units, I'm of course going to mine more WeFi tokens and continue to move there. And actually, I'm going to go here real quick because you can see that WeFi tokens are tradable in the open market right now. And we're looking at right here. Here's the chart. It's right now, $2.31 per WFI token. Now, remember, I said there were a couple ways for you to earn. Let's go back here. You can also earn from the WeFi app referral fee. So if you decide that you want to share this with other people, you're like, wait a minute, my friends, my family can get money back on down the road on mortgages and car loans and credit cards and swipes of cards and all this stuff. And trading cryptocurrency from one crypto to the next. That sounds pretty cool. I can share that every time there's a transaction. And this is what I was talking about. They'll get some energy and they'll get something back on their mortgage. But if you referred them, you will get some funds off of the fees that are paid on that mortgage, on the credit card swipes. Eventually, you could be making thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars a month in referral income just by referring people to this. And then, of course, on the ITO unit sales, so up to 25%. So when I purchased those ITO units, the person who brought me in actually made a commission, and the person that brought them in made a commission. So there's a commission structure on the ITO units as well as in there. So I'm going to come back over here. I'll actually show you my back office right here. Now, I referred about a dozen people to it, and since then, people have been sharing out there because they're super excited about the idea of being when I sit down and I look at it and I grab my phone and I go, okay, let me go through here. Oh, yeah, Robert owns a house. Oh, yeah, he's making a mortgage payment. Susan's making a mortgage payment. Boom, boom. Oh, wait a minute. I could go through and pick hundreds of people out of my phone that have car payments, mortgages. All of them have credit cards, right? Debit cards. So when I look at it and I go, wouldn't they like to save money and have better services? Wouldn't they like to get energy that can be converted back into USDT or back into WFI tokens? Or wouldn't they like to own a part of what we believe will become one of the largest banks in the world? And of course, my answer is yes. A matter of fact, we've actually had it now where, let's see if we're going to be able to, I don't think we're going to have, it logged me out. I'm sorry. Oh, there we go. Now we're back in. All right, cool. Let's go here. Oh, darn it. Let's see here. We're going to get back in here real quick, guys. But think about that, being able to actually make money off of people's mortgages, off of your own mortgage, being able to benefit from that. I want to ask you guys a question. What if you could have done that from the very beginning? Maybe you're 65 years old. Maybe you've paid off your house, right? Or maybe you've been making mortgage payments. You're, like most people where you make payments for a while and then you want a bigger house. So you move to the next house and the next house. Maybe you've been making mortgage payments for 10, 20, 30 years. Maybe you've been making car payments. I got to believe that over my lifetime right now, I've probably financed about 15 to 18 cars, right? I'm 60 years old. Imagine if I would have gotten digital assets every time I made a car payment, whether it was for 4 years, 5 years, 7 years, right? On my business vehicles. Imagine that. Or when I financed equipment, which I've done, or taken out business loans or personal loans, or gotten every time I've literally charged millions of dollars on my credit cards over the year because of businesses and personal. So guys, I shared this with about a dozen people. It's turned into 853 people. Of those 853, I assure you, some of them have mortgages, car loans. And as soon as I am able to, the bank opens and it's fully functioning and they're able to get money back on their mortgage payments, money back, I assure you that a good portion, if not most of those people, will switch. And here's the reason why. If I look at the satisfaction quotient of the bit of the banking industry. So if I did that like with restaurants, right? You're like, oh, 82% of the people love this restaurant. 75% of the people love this restaurant, right? I do it with clothing, right? Oh, 74% of people love this brand or whatever it is, television shows. But if you do that with banking, I guarantee you either have mediocre satisfaction or I just simply tolerate it. I'm one of these people that simply just tolerate the banks that I do business with. A matter of fact, if now that there is going to be a better option, I will switch my banking at the drop of a hat. Every single one of my business accounts, every one of my personal accounts will be switched because I do not have, and I've tried all the banks, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, small banks, big banks, everything you can imagine that I've used over my career in this, guys, and I will switch my banking in a heartbeat. And that is where the opportunity lies. So you have this crossroad. Web 2, Web 3. Web 3 better in every way now that WeFi is solving those problems. So ultimately, Web 3 will dominate, whether it's a year, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years from now. Web 3 will dominate. And then you take the banking industry and you take the dissatisfaction of people with their banks and you bring a bank that will let share. By the way, guys, 50% of every banking fee will be paid out to the community. Not 50% of the profits, 50% of the actual bank fee. And then, of course, because we're become shareholders down the road in the bank, we'll actually get a portion of the profits as well. So when you look at the team, you look at the fact that they're well funded, you look at the innovations that they've already done in their careers. Look, success leaves clues. When you have a team that has been as successful as this team has been, the chances of success are extremely high. And if you're looking for something and you want to build long-term wealth, then you need to find a team that's well funded, that's solving a huge problem, that has had a successful track record. That is how you find a great investment. That is how I'm going to put my time, my effort, my energy into it. Somebody needs to transform the banking industry. WeFi is doing that, and you have the opportunity to get involved. So I want to thank you for being here. Remember, this is an affiliate program. So if somebody invited you here, get with them, get their link, get involved. And then, of course, if you want to share it with other people, that's fantastic. Let's go out and fix this banking system by forcing them to change, because we help build a better bank. Thanks for being here, and have a great rest of your day.